thought, like, I guess I did that video talking about how you basically things to look out for on a guitar when you're buying a new guitar or, you know, a second-hand guitar, things that kind of should, I think, be deal breakers, especially if you're buying like a new guitar, defects and stuff to look out for, things like a poorly cut nut or, you know, poorly fitted nut, things that are sort of semi-irreversible. You know, once you've cut or slotted a nut badly and taken pieces of wood out is kind of, well, actually, if you're a luthier and you know there's an easy way around that, let me know in the comments. I could be wrong, but it feels like once you've taken a piece of wood out of a guitar, in some ways it's a bit difficult to get it back, right? Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about. What I wanted to talk about today was like how to know when you've got a guitar that you should not let go of. So how do you know when you found the one? So it sort of boggles my mind that for me, this like might literally be my favourite Strat in the world. I haven't played all the Strats in the world, but of all the ones that I've played, this would be the one that I'd keep, which is a nice thing to be able to say. But someone sold this guitar, right? Or a couple of people may have even sold it. I bought it second hand. And I'd hate to be in the situation where I'd let something like that slip through my hands. But obviously it didn't work out for someone, right? And I just was wondering, you know, as someone who buys and plays guitars, obviously what you see me doing on the channel is trying to connect with different guitars and bits and pieces, and I can't really hide the ones that I actually end up connecting with because I pick them up more. I think that's the real crux of the thing. Like, how often do you pick that instrument up and what happens when you do pick it up? So for me, there's certain instruments which, like that blue K-line, the Strat, when I come to play that guitar, I can sort of rely on it. I feel like it feels like home to me. If I'm playing another guitar which doesn't feel as much like home, I know I can come to the K-line and it feels like, this is where I should have been playing. Now, it doesn't mean that these guitars have to be expensive. I built this guitar, and for some reason this seems to be one of my favourite Telecasters that I've played as well. There's nothing posh going on with it. It's a parts caster. This is a Mighty Mite neck from China, fairly slim. Got an Ivana nut, compensated. It's got K-line pickups in it now, a Swamp Ash body that was a second because it's got a chunk taken out of it. It's pretty ugly looking, right? And it's not done a great job. Like, the ferrules kind of stick out. They're not flush to the body. I didn't do a good job of it, but it plays pretty well for me. I've got it strung up with 11s, and I feel like I play this guitar a bit differently to some of the other guitars. I don't know if you got that from the intro, but maybe that's the thing as well. Does a guitar has to look a certain way, I guess, for you to really love it? There's something about that, but also hopefully a guitar does bring something out of your playing, right? If it's speaking to you. And this is what I found with the Gibson Les Pauls that I didn't find so much with the PRS DGT. Like, I could connect with something on the Les Pauls that I've actually got and enjoyed, whereas the DGT, it kind of sat in a cupboard for a long time not being played. And I think that's where you know a relationship is not working out, I guess, when it is that you're not spending any time together, right? Things that I think could help with this, changing strings on a guitar can give you a bit of a fresher perspective. And so in theory, if you're thinking, I'm going to get rid of that guitar, maybe give it a string change beforehand and give it, you know, another couple of goes before you make that decision, so that you're kind of sure that you're not letting something that you're going to regret slip through your hands. Something daft and silly that I've done today, I had a noisy pot on the K-Line Springfields, the gold one and the blue one. And what that does is essentially when I'm playing guitar and trying to get a take, it kind of has a chance to ruin the take. And so I picked the gold one up for sure a bit less as a result of that. So I just got some WD-40 contact cleaner today. You can call this deoxit. It's basically like a thing for surface components, right? And you kind of just spray that into the little side of the pot, just a quick spray, and then turn it. And that's actually solved those electronic issues. You know, just a noisy pot, something as simple as a crackling noisy pot is enough for me to not want to pick up the guitar. So if I fix that, then potentially that could save my relationship with a gold Stratocaster, for instance. I guess we could also have the idea of like a utility guitar. So I'm not going to talk about concubines and that sort of thing, because that'd be incredibly weird, but like a jobbing guitar where it's not necessarily like the thing, maybe they did it in the Sopranos as well, right? But like the blue K-Line, I don't necessarily take it out and gig it anymore, because things have happened, like someone borrowed it, Sam, if you're watching, and it made me realise that I'd be really unhappy if something did happen to that long term. And as much as I like the other K-Line Springfields that I got, the one that I gravitate towards the most is that one. So the idea of having guitars that are good enough but are not the one that you can gig with, I think there's still validity to that, right? How do you know? Do you have any guitars in your collection that are the one? I'd be interested to hear that. Or do you have guitars that you let go that you thought were going to be the one but didn't end up working out? Or do you have guitars that were the one that you've realised now it's too late and they're gone? That'd be something worth regretting. But yeah, those were some of my thoughts. Like changing strings on a guitar as well actually tends to fix intonation problems, I find. So if you've got a guitar that's not intonating well, sometimes either try and run your finger up the inside of the string and feel if there's like rust on there, because that can create issues like debris on the underneath of the string. Give that a rub off, or change the strings, and often I've found that can bring your intonation back to where it should be, as well as making sure that the relief on the neck is like reasonable. And that's the thing that changes for me sometimes with some guitars. It's like a couple of turns of the truss rod just to bring it back so that the action is where it should be. And sometimes it's too low and you know you're fretting out a little bit or getting a little bit of rattle. Sometimes it's too high and things are starting to get a bit sharp above the 12th fret. So like a simple kind of adjustment of the truss rod, fixing noisy pots, changing strings, and spending like a good bit of quality time with your guitar maybe might help you avoid selling the one. I also I have this idea that people are looking for very different things in some guitars, right? And maybe there is no one guitar that fits everyone, or you know, maybe there's a guitar that you love that no one else would really love. That's probably an idea as well, right? Like that K-Line Springfield, potentially you might think is a real dog, but it works for me, doesn't it? Dogs are alright, aren't they? Catch you in another video soon. Hopefully that was an okay little philosophical thing. Do you have desert island guitars? Are those a thing? Let me know in the comments. Here's some more playing.
Bye.